The email and SMS marketing skills training scorecard sheet is actually something that I've created for internal purposes. Back in the day, when I was the operational manager here at Magnet Monster, I used it to, of course, onboard our new hires and also to kind of evaluate their knowledge and their skill set. Because at the end of the day, sorry, what I wanted to do is I wanted to determine where are you currently in your email SMS marketing journey and where do you need to go to within the next few weeks, months, and so on. Because at the end of the day, we all want to grow and develop our skill set. Okay. But in order to do that properly, you need to gauge your current stance so you can measure your upward development or growth curve over X amount of period. And a scorecard sheet like this helps massively with that regard. Now, a couple of key things to remember here. Okay. Now, you can use this sheet, but it might be a little bit different in your case because maybe you are working in-house. You're not working for an agency. Maybe you're working for an agency. Maybe you want to be a behind the scene type of person. So some of the skills aren't needed because you're not going to be a client facing person. So, of course, take that into account that you can still be an excellent email and SMS marketer, even if you score low in certain areas, because it might not be applicable to your specific journey. So let's dive into the sheet, how you use it, and I'll also go through some of the scoring criteria, and then you can absolutely score yourself, make a copy of the sheet, score yourself, a team member, and so on, and use this as your starting point. Okay. How do you actually use the sheet? In the overview tab, you will see there's a couple of bits and bobs here. The first one is the core capabilities and skills. So I essentially evaluated based off of 4 areas: soft skills, email marketing skills, SMS marketing skills, reporting and analytics. And of course, something like retention marketing kind of spans across, a wide spectrum of these areas. Yeah. I've also baked in different scores out of 10, and each score indicates your training requirement. Okay. For instance, if I score myself a 9 or a 10, it indicates that I don't need a lot of training in that particular area. If it's a 7 to 8, I need some basic training, just some brush ups, and it will get me there. 5 to 6, I need ongoing support. I really need to spend some time in that area to get better. Anything 4 below, I need a lot of direction or support, or I need a lot of training there. You can see here we've clearly built it for Magnet Monster because it's all about support, support, support. I want someone to indicate to me as a leader where they need support and where they need to grow and develop. And you want to be honest with yourself here, okay, and with each other. Is if you need support in certain areas, you need to be able to communicate it, verbalize it. Let me hide my face, and then we're going to dig straight into the scoring sheet. The first step here, soft skills. Okay. Now, soft skills is, again, it is something that you absolutely need when you're working in a team format, when you're going to be working with clients, when you're going to be, working with other team members, stakeholders, and so forth. Okay. You absolutely need to have good soft skills. If you are a person that's very much behind the scenes, sometimes your soft skills doesn't need to be as refined and as developed as certain people's in certain client facing roles. Okay, let's start from the top here. So I'm going to go through each of these rows. Okay. And then I'm going to score myself. And then you'll actually see this chart on the right here will actually start to populate. It's a plot chart, I believe. So you'll see it's pretty handy. So let's start at the top here. Time management. How good are you with stress management? How organized are you? Can you prioritize? Can you plan? Are you good at goal setting? These are all critical factors when you're working on accounts. What is your time management ability? And if you look at stress management, organization, prioritization, everything forms part of time management. Are you someone that can prioritize your tasks? Can you prioritize for the clients you're working with? Can you help other team members to prioritize? Are you organized? Can you plan? And so on. So I would score myself there an 8. There's always room to grow. You can now see how this starts to populate. Communication. Think about how you communicate to different stakeholders. Your verbal communication, written communication. Are you good at typing out emails? Are you clear? Can you articulate yourself quite well? Do you present yourself well? Can you take on constructive feedback? Can you communicate to other people based off of the feedback they give to you? Are you good at active listening? That all comes down to communication, because if you listen carefully to what your clients are saying, your team members are saying, you can respond in much better ways, in clearer manners, and articulate things well. You need to listen to what your clients are saying when it comes down to them explaining their primary objectives, secondary objectives, and so forth. I'd say I'm pretty good there. Okay, 9. Adaptability, critical skill here. Your self management. Are you adaptable to manage yourself? Can you set your own training schedule? Can you set your own your daily task list? Are you an optimistic person? Do you have some sense of calmness? Can you analyze certain stuff? Are you self motivated? Because if you're self motivated, if you're calm, if you're positive about certain things, your ability to adapt to challenges, to ever changing markets, if you want to service different D2C brands in different verticals, you need to be able to be adaptable. But to be adaptable, you need to be calm. You need to be a good analyzer of scenarios and circumstances and problems and outcomes. And you also need to manage that yourself, yeah, and so on. I would definitely say I'm definitely like an 8 there. Okay, and score yourself here. Copy the sheet, score yourself. See where you fall within this. Again, this is not um, a bashing exercise. It is, we all have, as I've said, we all have a certain ability to us, knowledge, experience. You want to set your benchmark and improve on it. So this is going to be my benchmark. Problem solving. How good are you at analyzing problems? How good are you at logical reasoning, observations, brainstorming, decision making? In an email and SMS marketing role, this is always critical. Can you analyze, let's say for argument's sake, a client raises that um, year over year revenue is down on the key moneymaker flows. Why is that? You need to be able to have a logical reasoning behind your findings, communicating it, your observations. How do you brainstorm with your engineers, with other people on the team? How do you brainstorm with your client, with other departments? And how good are you at actually making a decision on the next steps, the solutions? Oh, um, revenue is down on the key flows year over year because there's been a problem with the mobile compatibility of the opt-in form. So fewer people opted in for X, Y, and Z reasons. It also seems like we've changed the trigger, so it's a lot more conservative. So less people are seeing it. You need to be very logical. How good are you at problem solving? I would probably say probably a 9, just because I've been doing it for so long. Okay, teamwork. Again, depending on your circumstances, if you're in an agency environment, if you service clients, you're a consultant, teamwork is critical. Think about conflict management and resolution. If a client is being quite stubborn about something and there's some conflict that arises, or you've got a conflict situation with your engineers, like you propose something and it's not doable and there's a bit of back and forth between you, or you need to brief your copywriters, they unclear. Can you collaborate, coordinate? How good are you at exchanging ideas, mediate some of these things? If you want to be a very good email and SMS marketer within an agency environment, trust me, your ability to work with other team members is critical, because you're the brains behind the exercise or the operation, and you need to send briefs over to them. So you need to be very good at coordinating all these different touch points. Creativity. We are swimming in a sea of sameness at the moment. Okay. So when you service a client, when you're a consultant, when you work with other team members, The creative thinkers are the people that stand out amongst the crowd. They get the buy-in from clients. Imagination, mind mapping, innovation, experimentation, questioning. These are all soft skills that formulate your ability to be creative. Think about mind mapping. How good are you at mapping out different tactics for clients? Customer journey mapping. How does campaign sit with flows and all the different touch points? How does it sit within this ecosystem? Experimentation, A/B testing. You want to test new tools, questioning. How good are you at tapping into someone's business? Like think about logistics, fulfillment, product inventory. The list goes on. Once you start to question things better, your creativity levels will rise massively. Think about interactive emails, like question it, like what have you guys tested in the past? Have you ever tested interactive emails, conversational SMS where you can actually tap to buy? Are you guys open to that? Do you have budget for that? Question, 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 question. Questioning and creativity goes hand in hand. I think I'm an eight. Leadership. Okay, again, depending on your role, the role you want to play here. If you want to be even an SMS marketing person in an agency environment, you want to grow to a head of strategy type of level. You need to have good management skills. You need to be very authentic. You need to be good at mentorship, generosity, cultural intelligence. These are all signs of a good leader. Okay. People need to look up to this person. Okay. They need to see you as someone they can learn from. You need to be open to teaching them. They need to be open to approaching you like an open door policy. You need to be generous with what you share, how you train, and so on. Okay, the best leaders out there make themselves open and available to lead, and so on. You also need to be very aware of the culture around you. Are people open to learning? How do you approach them? If you're servicing a client, can you tap into their team members? Can you tap into other departments, train them, teach them, and so on? I think I'm up there. Interpersonal skills. Think about empathy, humor, networking, tolerance, diplomacy. You need to think of all these things. Okay. Empathy is a critical one. If a client, for instance, doesn't want to run discounts for whatever reason, okay, because the margins doesn't allow for it, or they're struggling with cash flow or whatever else, okay, you need to have empathy around that and not shoot it down entirely. You need to understand some of these challenges. Humor goes a long way. Not everybody needs to be funny the whole time, but you kind of want to put people at easier, make it fun for them to work with you. Networking, tolerance. You need to be able to tolerate the goods, the bads, the challenges. Okay, and networking is critical when you want to delegate work to other people in the business. If you want to speak to vendors, technology vendors out there, you need to be pretty good at these things to really grow as an email and SMS marketer. Otherwise, if you isolate it, you don't network, you're struggling to work under stress, pressure, you might not achieve what you want to achieve. Okay. I think I'm pretty okay there. I'll be honest with you. Work ethic, responsibility. You need to be a responsible person. Yeah. People need to be able to rely on you. Discipline, dependability, commitment, professionalism. Okay. These are all straightforward, easy stuff to understand. People need to be able to rely on you. Commitment needs to be there. If you say that you're going to do certain things, reporting, you need to be able to be there. Okay, I'm not going to go too far into this one. Attention to detail. Okay, think about scheduling, introspection, questioning, critical observation. These are all things that you need to be aware of. Okay, attention to detail goes a long way, especially if you want to service clients in an agency environment. You're working with 5, 6, 7 brands at a time. You need to be able to step back, analyze it, go into the details, go back again, introspection, look at what you've accomplished the last couple of weeks, months, and so forth, and constantly tweak and change and upgrade yourself. Okay. Attention to detail is massive. As I've said again, questioning here. How often do you question certain things? If you don't question stuff, you'll sit in the dark here. If you don't understand anything about a dashboard, fulfillment, and so on, question things. Mr. Client or hey team member, You don't want to run discount. You say your margins are too thin. Talk to me here. How did you guys calculate it? What numbers went into it? Your cogs. What goes into that to make it or to see that this is a thin margin? Ask those questions. Think I'm decent. Think I'm decent. Okay, these are all soft skill stuff. Okay, there's other things as well, but now if I look at my plot chart here, the closer it gets to the middle circle, the center, that indicates that a lot of effort needs to go into that particular area. The wider or the closer you get to the outer edge, the better you are at it. So I can clearly see here, okay, work ethic is there. Good. Leadership, cool. Teamwork, cool. Problem solving, cool. Where I might need some tweaking and changing is probably adaptability, yeah. Creativity, time management's there, attention to detail. So I can clearly see where I need to kind of hone my skills. And again, as I've said here, is if you look at the blue, I need basic training. Definitely need to brush up my skills or my learnings in some of these areas. Okay. You can see there. But remember, I've been in this industry for a long time, yeah. So I've managed to build up some good soft skills. Okay. That's the first one. Let's move over to email marketing skills. Okay. Again, some of this might be too expensive for your needs. This is how you do it. Okay. Some of this might also be very high level. So you need to be realistic in terms of your gut feeling, listening to your feeling around it. Let's talk about the first one here. Platform proficiency. Expert in Klaviyo, MailChimp, Salesforce, whatever tool you use to send out email and SMS. And you also know how to use the basic functions like automation, personalization, technical knowledge. Okay. Again, this is a very loaded, high level question, but I can't unpack everything about Klaviyo. It will take me years to do. But you know how good you are in a certain tool. Okay. If you think about the scoring criteria, yeah, I need basic training, ongoing support. Myself, I'll probably give myself a 7 just because there's so much to learn about all these different tools. Okay. This one, there we go. Strategy planning, skilled in prioritizing email techniques to align with business goals. So when you work in a team or you work for a client, you are very good at determining what needs to get done, okay, to hit certain goals, primary goals, secondary goals, and the timeline for that. This month, we're going to work on X, Y, and Z because I've forecasted the highest ROI for that. You've got X, Y, and Z capacity. We've got X, Y, and Z capacity. This is how we're going to do it for the next 6 months. Okay. How good are you at actually planning out the strategy? Because everything starts with planning. Okay. Customer journey mapping. How skilled are you at mapping out all the different touch points when it comes down to email across the different stages of the life cycle of a customer? Think about pre-purchase consideration, when they've made a purchase, what is the post-purchase experience like, loyalty, win back, all these type of things. Can you map it out in a detailed fashion across all these different stages? Okay. Again, here you need to be super aware of what is available within the business. Do they have a mobile app? Do they have push notifications? Do they use third-party tools like a loyalty program, subscription platform, and so forth? Because your emails that you're sending through Klaviyo, MailChimp, whatever, of course, needs to work in sync with all these other touch points. Otherwise, there's a form of overload, over messaging. Okay. Think I'm decent, but obviously still need some growth there. Opt-in strategy, list growth, newsletter list growth. How good are you at growing lists, email lists, so you can send more emails to more people in a compliant manner? How good are you at doing co-marketing? Like, are you able to grow newsletter lists outside of a client's store by tapping into social channels, by tapping into influencers and so on? I think I'm decent there, but I'd love to be better at co-marketing. How can I reach out to influencers and scale that, for instance? How can I tap into social media channels, paid channels to help me grow newsletter lists? Deliverability optimization. It's a hot topic at the moment. If you think about authentication, SPF, DKIM, DMARC, list hygiene, setting up Google Postmaster tools, monitoring that, inbox placements, running seedless tests. How good are you at actually optimizing deliverability for clients? I think I'm okay, but I know for a fact there's some technical things I don't always know, like very specific DMARC policies and so on. Segmentation strategy. How skilled are you at segmenting your customer database by demographics, behavior, transactions, and so on? Are you only good at setting up the very basics, the 30, 60, 90-day engage? Or are you actually skilled enough to create segments? You learn from the data you're seeing, you learn from the targeting, exclusion targeting, and you can talk numbers to the person you're speaking to. I think I'm okay. Email compliance. Certain countries and regions out there we know are very strict when it comes down to compliance statuses. Okay, European markets, GDPR, CAN spam, permission-based principles. Do you know if you service people in Germany, D2C brands? Do you know anything around double opt-in, what that entails? If, for instance, someone asks to retrieve their data, please remove my data from your database, all personal traces on the info. Can you do that? Do you know where to go and so on? Or you run the risk of getting sued. If you're using something like Wonderkind, if you're using something like retention.com, do you know the compliance challenges around it? I think I'm half okay, but I think I need to brush it up more. A/B testing. Let's talk about, you know how to plan and design A/B tests. You know how to set it up. You know how to monitor this, and so on. I think we all know something about A/B testing, but I've hardly seen anyone plan hypotheses around it, hypotheses, pitch it correctly, and monitor and measure that over time. What's the real impact of it? I haven't seen that getting done. And can you communicate with other departments around tests? What have you learned from them? What can they learn from you? I think I'm half okay there, but I can definitely brush up. Integrations. We know the technology landscape is massive. It's expansive, okay? Third-party tools and so on. Do you know how to plug third-party tools into your ESP? Do you know how to sync it up with your flows, your campaigns, your newsletter opt-ins? Do you know the data that needs to be synced between the two different platforms? Let's say, for argument's sake, you've got Skio, or you connect Shopify to Klaviyo. Do you know how to sync data from Shopify to Klaviyo? Do you know how to sync Klaviyo back to Shopify so you can actually utilize this? Do you know the functions it provides? Do you know the costs involved? Do you know if there's a way to maybe eliminate a certain tool so you can save costs? For instance, if you're using Attentive and you're using Attentive very basically, why don't you shut? Why can't you just shut that off and just use Klaviyo? Do you know the restrictions around that and so on? So it's a very, very vast market, but I know how to dig into documentation, ask questions. I think I'm decent there. I don't know every tool out there, of course not, but I know how to adapt to it. Timing and frequency optimization. Let's talk about, again, if you talk about life cycle mapping at the top here, customer journey mapping, how good are you at the timing and frequency of touch points and messages? Email. Best practices around email overload. How often and frequent should you be sending emails to certain segments? Like your VIP buyers shouldn't receive a campaign email from you every single day. And how do you get the timing of the messaging right? Should you send VIP buyers a message around Black Friday? Probably not, because they might be purchasing frequently, so you don't need to bug them with more discounts. Do you know that? Do you know how to navigate timing and frequency? It's a critical one. It's a very difficult one because it will vary across different accounts. How good are you at actually getting the timing right? Cross-channel integration. Let's talk about how good are you at marrying up your email activity and effort and tactics with other email channels, other marketing channels. I'm talking about paid channels, social channels, influencer marketing, loyalty, subscription, customer service. The list goes on. Direct mail, SMS. Do you know how to connect what you do on the email front with other marketing channels? How do you measure the impact? Can you navigate challenges around attribution. And I'll just show you an example, a use case. We used to do email marketing for a florist in Los Angeles. Okay, and we connected with the paid media team because they had some really good insights in terms of what they've tested in the past, something that we can use on the email front. They said that very flashy flower arrangements are converting much higher than just a plain bouquet, something small. We on the email front thought, let's stay small and affordable, so it doesn't come across as, oh, we just this premium expensive brand, because it's an expensive purchase. So we want the average buyer to be able to say, yep, I can afford the small bouquet. They said, no, go flashy, bright, bold, because that is what attracts and appeals to the market. So, how good are you at actually connecting with the other people? I think I'm decent. Copywriting and design. Again, you don't need to be the best copywriter or designer out there, because you'll most likely have designers and production people doing the work here. But if you write briefs for copywriters and designers, you need to be able to guide them on certain best practices. Guys, I want you to use 2 testimonials here. Please use a photo and do X, Y, and Z for me. I need you guys to please showcase 4 products in a dynamic feed, dynamic widget block in the email that is linked to the men's suit collection on Shopify, because that needs to be pulled in. You need to be able to understand some of these things so you can guide your people. Otherwise, you might have a discrepancy between your thinking and how you want to portray this and the output and what actually gets delivered. So you need to be able to have this knowledge so you can be good at briefing. If you want to be better at briefing or any of these topics, please let me know, DM me directly, and I can guide you. Think I'm pretty good here because I've done so many Q&A work here and so on. And I've done so many briefs. So again, here, my plot chart here, I can see the strong areas: design, copywriting best practices, cross-channel marketing, segmentation stuff. The areas where I need absolute support: opt-in strategy there, A/B testing, email compliance, integrations, kind of this area there, need some help. But nothing is completely off. But you can see here, I need a lot of brush up in certain areas, especially email compliance. So if I, for instance, if I now sign a German or European client, I'm going to have to brush up these skills here. But because I score high in adaptability, okay, and time management, stress management, and so on, and I'm where's that one? Self-managed. I can absolutely handle this because my soft skills will make up for any, shortcomings in the hard skill department. Okay, let's move on to SMS marketing skills. Same here, platform proficiency. You're talking about attentive, PostScript, SMS bump, Octane, and whatever else. Two-way messaging. How good are you? I'm okay. Yeah. Again, Klaviyo, you can send SMS from Klaviyo, easy enough. Attentive, PostScript. There's so many platforms out there, but I probably need some more experience here. Setting up keywords, setting up opt-in stuff, automations. It's vast. Strategy planning, very same story. Are you good at prioritizing, planning out SMS tactics against a certain timeline? I think I'm okay. Customer journey mapping, similar to email. How good are you at plotting out the different touch points of SMS in this entire journey? Pre-purchase, welcome flow, cart abandonment, post-purchase, transactional, loyalty, subscription stuff. Are you actually skilled at mapping out the touch points across journeys so you don't over message and so on? Decent. Timing and frequency, again, yeah, as I've said, above. Are you okay in your timings, frequency? Do you know when to target people, how, when? It will vary. There's no best practice here. But do you feel confident that you can step into any project, any account, and you can have those conversations? Guys, I think we need to put our foot off the brake here. We're oversending to X, Y, and Z segment. They receive 2 SMS a day. It's not going to work for X, Y, and Z reason. You don't have all the answers yet, but you should be able to navigate this. And again, this is why soft skills is so critical, because you are talking about decision making, your communication, adaptability, problem solving. If you don't know what's the best timing, are you asking the right questions? Is your logical reasoning there, and so forth? Okay. I would probably say I'm decent. Opt-in strategy. Again, how good are you at growing the SMS list? Not going to get stuck in that one. I think I'm a little bit poor there. Copywriting. Do you know copywriting limitations, best practices, and so on for SMS? Decent. You also need to know, can you guide people in a brief? Segmentation strategy, similar to email. Do you know how to segment your SMS subscribers and so on? I think I'm okay. MMS, do you know the capabilities of MMS, the limitations, the costs? Do you know how it enhances your SMS campaigns? Do you know how deliverability on it works and so on? Again, if you're driving a strategy for a client or your team, you need to be able to navigate this area. I think I'm okay. There's obviously a couple of limitations I don't know. For instance, I know some carriers don't support MMS well, so it doesn't get delivered. Compliance, legal knowledge, talking about TCPA, GDPR, double opt-in, and so forth. Or do you understand the legal compliance side? I think I'm quite poor here, I'll be honest with you. I don't know too much about this because it varies. In some states, it's a little bit more relaxed, and other areas, no. Then you also get like something like WhatsApp, and becomes quite difficult. Cross-channel integration. Can you integrate SMS with your customer support team, your emails, direct mail, paid social influencers? I'll be honest with you, I don't know exactly how to best connect SMS to other channels. I'll be honest with you. Email, yeah. SMS, not always sure. Interactive messaging. Think about how good are you at using interactive SMS features like polls, quizzes, surveys to get engagement and feedback from audiences. It's a critical one for brands nowadays, talking about zero-party data, first-party data, and so on. I think I'm okay. Again, this is me, SMS marketing. Score yourself here. This is only if you really want to delve into the SMS marketing space. Strong areas, customer journey mapping, timing frequency, segmentation, MMS. Areas where I'm super poor, strategy planning, all good. So I can plan these things. Areas where I kind of suck to some extent. Platform proficiency, I need some work there. Talking about cross-channel integration is weak. Compliance, legal stuff, not great. So I can see where my weaknesses sit. Okay, last one, then I'm pretty much done. Talking about reporting and analytics, this is, of course, a critical piece to the puzzle, yeah? Okay. Let's quickly talk about some of the elements here. Basic elements of data. Now, if you want to be a very good analyst, a reporter of data, you need to know certain key principles when it comes down to data. Different data types like categorical versus numerical. Categorical can be something like eye color, blue, green, yellow. I know how to collect data about eye color, different categories or categories of vehicle models, where numerical is a number of something. The number of men in our database, the number of cat lovers in our database versus dog lovers, ratios versus intervals, median, mode, all these different things really helps you to understand how to treat data effectively. I think I'm okay, but I need some work, I'll be honest with you. Data storage pooling methods, okay? You need to understand how data is being collected, the structure of it, data sources, where to transfer, integrating different data sources. If you want to be a good email and SMS marketer, you don't want to restrict yourself just to Klaviyo. Okay, there's Klaviyo, numbers, analytics. Cool, I'm done. We work with clients that uses Skio, Loop, Recharge, Reload, Rebuy. Man, the list goes on. Shopify stuff, return, refunds, the list goes, it's never ending. So you need to understand how can you plug different data sources, how can you pull it from somewhere into something like API pools and so forth. Or you want to know the original source of it. Think about lists within an ESP. If you connect Octane, for instance, a pop-up tool or any other pop-up tool to Klaviyo, do you know where the data comes from? Do you know the custom fields? So you must be able to map it back to custom properties within Klaviyo. Do you know how to do that? Do you know the format? Is it a text? Is it a Boolean? Is it a dynamic field? You need to know this stuff. Otherwise, you're going to struggle to really map out an effective strategy and how to report and measure. Okay. I think I'm decent there and I can adapt with challenges. Data analysis, if you look at raw data, okay, and in a dashboard, you need to be able to draw up comparisons, conclusions, projections, root cause analysis, like diagnostics. Think about if year over year recipients receiving campaigns, if that is down, you need to be able to unpack the data. Okay, let's look at the amount of emails we've sent this month versus the same time last year. Okay, it looks like we've sent 10 fewer emails. Okay, that could be a reason why there was an under delivery. Or you can look at your data. There's so much you can look at. Did we change emails? Like for instance, last year we sent emails that was mobile optimized. This year it doesn't seem to be the case. You need to be able to understand root cause analysis here. What actually caused certain increases and decreases? I think I'm decent there. I've done so much of this in my career. Predictive analytics. You need to be able to do at least some forecasting. Okay, purchase propensity. It's a very difficult thing to do, especially if you don't have the right tools. But I've done it on a very basic level where I presented certain flows or certain tools that I want to get buy-in on. Let's say, for argument's sake, Lifetimely or Little Data, Black Crow. And I need a client to buy in, of course, to purchase the tool and subscribe to it. So I predicted some potential growth forecasting scenarios. If we increase it by 5%, 10%, 20%, what return on your spend can you expect from it? Then I can clearly showcase client the potential uptick here and I get buy-in, okay? Churn likelihood if we do X, Y, and Z. Are you good at it? I think, yeah. I think I'm half good, but man, oh man, that's a difficult subject matter and I need to be better at it. Let's talk about dashboard and reporting visualization. Are you only limiting yourself to Klaviyo, for argument's sake, or MailChimp? Okay. Or are you actually good at pushing data into Excel for visualization or Tableau, Power BI, Looker Studio? Do you know how to visualize? Do you know what graph you should be using? A pie chart versus a bar graph versus a plot chart? Do you also know the best practices on how to visualize data in a particular graph so the numbers make sense and so on? I've done this extensively, so I think I'm decent. Okay. Error monitoring and identification. You are good at picking up anomalies and you are good at spotting errors and so on. So this is a loaded one. Anomalies, for instance, you know how to dig into raw data. Take for argument's sake, here's a scenario. Okay, we've done it on clients in the past. Is someone would say that, okay, it looks like the AOV is around, let's say, $45. So cool. Let's cap the free shipping threshold at $45 because that seems to be the average amount people add to their cart or when they purchase. So let's keep the free shipping threshold at $45. I've actually gone ahead and I've looked at the data and I've removed anomalies. Like anomalies can happen on the lower end of the scale, like people that only spend $5 on their basket or their order, and people that spend $500. If you remove those outliers, okay, causing anomalies, the AOV sometimes jumps from $45 to 32, for instance. Now you've set your free shipping threshold on the wrong amount. So fewer people are now able to hit the free shipping threshold. So they are feeling a little bit discouraged to make a purchase because now they need to pay shipping and so on. These are all anomalies and outliers and stuff that you need to be able to identify in data, okay? But you need to get your hands dirty with data. Also errors, like are there any errors in the data causing skews? Like there's click bots clicking on your email links, inflating your click engagement metrics, or you've connected Skio Loop recharge to Klaviyo account, but now recurring orders are basically inflating your order numbers, but that's an error. Okay. Are you picking up on errors in the flows? Like there's some trigger that's broken or it's a depleted what's the name, API that is now falling away. Can you pick up on these errors? I think I'm half okay there, but yeah, need some work. Forecasting, it goes down to predictive analytics again. It's kind of similar, yeah. Um, as I've said, yeah, I'm okay with it. Attribution modeling. Again, no one has the silver bullet answer to attribution modeling. First touch versus last touch versus multi-touch and so on. How do you set the attribution window for email versus SMS versus push notifications? It's a never-ending conversation, this. But even if you don't have the answers to this, clear answers, do you know how to navigate this? Do you understand different attribution models? How it ties in? Can you navigate those difficult conversations? Which tools should you be using? Triple Whale versus North Beam versus Klaviyo versus whatever. Difficult conversation. I think I need work there, I'll be honest with you. Again, my average score here 6.5, not too shabby, but not great at all. Good at data analysis, cool. I've been doing that for probably 15 years plus. Dashboards, cool. I need a lot of work on predictive analytics and so on. You can see there. So now you can kind of see soft skills. Now I know, okay, I'm going to now plan my development program here, okay. Soft skills, 8.5 out of 10. I'm quite happy with it, okay. I'm not going to spend my time brushing too much up on this because it comes down to life experience and so forth every single day. But I can absolutely do some reading on stress management, better prioritization, okay. Email marketing skills, 7.2 out of 10. I'm pretty decent here, but there's definitely areas that I need to brush up. Opt-in, deliverability, email compliance, all critical areas. SMS marketing, 6.4. I need a lot of training and effort here if I'm going to really, if I want to service the whale accounts, the complicated accounts, people are really making money out of SMS. If I want to approach one of those accounts, I need to brush up. And then reporting analytics, 6.4, definitely. If I want to become super well-rounded in this area, I need to focus more on the elements of data, predictive analytics, forecasting, attribution stuff, really dig into the weeds of it. Difficult conversation or difficult subject matter, yeah. But if you take all of these things into account, okay, and you get high scores and you improve yourself, A, you'll be able to work at any agency. B, you'll be able to work for any large brand out there. And C, you'll be able to work with any type of stakeholder. And that is pretty much how you use the skills training matrix. If you've got any particular questions for me, let me know. Make a copy of the sheet. If you don't have access to it, ping me directly and I'll give you access to it. Use it in your agency. Use it as a consultant. Use it if you have a D2C brand or you're working in a team format. I think it's a great resource out there. Make it your own, add to it, remove from it, and just have fun with it. Till later. Cheers.